Welcome, everyone, to our review of Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah, that is the title. You got it right. Nailed it.
I almost said Homecoming.
Yeah. No, this is a second Spider-Man movie, and this will be a review, spoilers review. So if you haven't seen it yet, and you don't want spoilers, be aware that there will be spoilers. We're going to talk about the story a bit.
So, I mean, this one takes place after the Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
So we know a bunch of heroes are now no longer with the Avengers. Kind of throws things up in the air.
I mean, they kind of show that right at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And we know even from the trailer that the main villain, although he doesn't look like a villain, is either the Elementals or Mysterio, or both. Probably.
I mean, that was not hidden at all. Like, Mysterio is going to be the villain.
Yeah.
In, like, the most obvious swerve ever.
Yeah.
I still have to admit, though, like, it gave me that illusion of disbelief at the beginning. Like, as much as I was like, okay, I know Mysterio's the bad guy, they played it in a way, and they told the story in a way that was like, maybe.
Yeah, and I think that's like the best they can do, because you have a character that you know is a villain. You know he's an illusionist.
Yeah.
So you know that there's probably some illusion going on in the background there just from knowing the lore, right?
Yeah.
But I think they did the best they could in making it questionable. Like, maybe the Elementals really are the bad guys here.
I mean, I know we talked about it even before going to see the movie. We're like, well, I mean, he must be summoning them somehow. Like, something like that, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's nothing new.
Yeah.
I do like that they did a really good job making it seem like the Elementals weren't an illusion, even though you knew they were. Like, every time Spider-Man's battling them, he doesn't actually have physical contact with them to find out that they're an illusion. He shoots his webs one time when it's the water elemental, but you'd think, well, it was water. It just went through it, right? And if you watch the battles really closely, Mysterio's always fighting the Elementals, which obviously is what they wanted. Spider-Man's like keeping the buildings from falling over or throwing rocks into them and stuff like that. So they actually do a really good job to make it, at least in the mindset of a character who doesn't know that Mysterio is traditionally a villain, seem like, oh, okay, yeah, like this guy is really fighting these things to try and make it, manageable.
I also have to give it to Jake Gyllenhaal. Like, the way he played the character with the lines and the delivery, when he's sitting down and talking to Peter and just having those heart-to-heart moments, like, you felt like this was genuine. Like, it was so well done.
I think he was my highlight of the movie.
For sure.
He played an amazing role, and even knowing that Mysterio was always a villain, I'm watching the movie and I'm like, please let him be a good guy, right? Like I really wanted, like, when they were having their heart-to-heart, I'm like, please let him be a good guy. Please let me be wrong. Please let me... And then, like, immediately it's like, oh, yeah, this is the swerve. It's like, come on, guys. But he was definitely my highlight. I think he... and obviously, man crush aside, because he's slowly creeping up to, like, Justin Timberlake levels for me. But he really did do a great job.
Yeah. And I think my favorite part about it was they used the alternate Earths thing, because as a fan, you know that heroes from other dimensions can be villains, and villains from other dimensions can be heroes. Like, they do that quite a bit. So there's always that.
Even
really,
the multiverse is not new to Spider-Man. Look at the last Spider-Man movie that wasn't part of the same, world.
So I liked how they used that, because as a fan that knows a bit more, it does make it quite realistic that he could actually be a hero, because
Mysterio in 616 would be a villain, but maybe Mysterio from, I forget the other number, but maybe because the Elementals actually did attack his home world, right? He had to become the hero.
Yeah.
But that disbelief was actually, it almost got me.
I have to give it credit, because it did make you think maybe.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the best you can hope for when you take a character who is so, like, traditionally associated with being a villain. That is the best you can do, is a maybe, right?
And I thought they did an excellent job at explaining, like, all the little sort of nitpicky, is that really how that character should have reacted at that time. Like some of the things that Nick Fury does. It's like, that doesn't seem Nick Fury-ish. But all these things come together in the end, right?
You can't fool Nick Fury. He's the most paranoid person in the world. Well, no wonder. I will also say I really liked how they explained some things that were left unexplained from other movies. Like, I was so mad at the fact that, like, when they showed the trailers and stuff, and from Endgame, I'm like, wait, did all the kids in his school get, like, disappeared? And they're like, the ones we wanted to were, like, even if it wasn't, you know, they were just, like, hammer it in there, they at least touched on it, like, answered that question, you know?
Yeah, and they got that out of the way very soon.
Yeah.
So it doesn't become something that you're thinking about the entire
whole
movie.
time, yeah.
Would have made a lot of sense if Ned was all of a sudden 5 years older. And just, right? Because he didn't disappear or anything like that.
All the important ones got blipped.
Can we talk about special effects in this one?
Okay.
Obviously, with the Mysterio element and, you know, some of the psychedelic stuff that ends up, like, trying to fool Spider-Man, I thought was fantastic.
Oh, it was so
Like,
great.
Obviously, Marvel always raises the bar for their special effects, but, like, not only was it well done, but I was really into, like, especially the big one when, you know, before Spider-Man gets picked up by Happy, before he, you know... When he first gets his ass kicked by, you know, Mysterio.
That was great. Great sequence.
Those sequences, the special effects, and not just the quality of it, but the creativeness of it was fantastic.
Yeah, like it really fit the character, really spoke to what Spider-Man was and what Spider-Man had gone through. And yeah, like the special effects weren't just good, they really fit the storyline too. It's like everything was so well thought out in this movie.
Except for the plot.
You didn't like the plot?
Not really. There was way too many people. Like, okay, I get it. Like, you know, we were meant to believe that Mysterio might be a good guy.
Yeah.
But, like, they made Spider-Man and Nick Fury so stupid in it. Like,
well, I mean...
they weren't catching on to anything.
Yeah. I will give it, they have a reason for why Nick Fury didn't catch on anything. But, that's another thing that I like, is that, again, it's like... You know, when I was watching the movie, I'm like, Nick, there's no way Nick Fury would fall for this, right?
Maybe I missed this. Is there a reason that his spider sense wasn't working for like the majority of the movie till the end when he focused up?
I want to say that he was just so
distracted.
Flustered. Yeah,
I think he was distracted because this is the first time he's really, I guess, been betrayed.
And it was quite clear that he was thinking about MJ like all the time.
Like, that's my low point, is MJ's character. I know it's not the same Mary Jane Watson, but obviously when she's MJ, that's obviously what they're kind of hinting at as at least who she is supposed to represent. And having her be this, like, yeah, I love it. The people got tortured here and killed here and dark and, oh, I like things better broken. It's like, she's not the bubbly next door neighbor type.
No.
Who's supposed to be like, almost like the moral, happy, like, anchor for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And they went with, like, and I get it, well, let's make her completely opposite, but, like, that doesn't work for me.
Yeah, they were going for a different take on it, right? Like,
it almost would have been better just to make another character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have preferred that.
Yeah.
Because then it wouldn't have mattered, right?
It definitely is not.
Well, I mean, it is another character, right? Because obviously they didn't go with Mary Jane Watson, right?
Yeah.
I believe they said her name in the previous one, but I don't remember what it was. It definitely wasn't Mary Jane Watson, but it was MJ, which is what they're alluding to, but almost like just like a reference to it. But it's like, I don't know, like you can't make a character that is a representation of someone so iconic and then make them completely different, because part of what MJ meant to or Mary Jane meant to the Spider-Man universe was that anchor. You know, she was that hope for Spider-Man, the positivity, the desire for a normal life, right? And
I like how they treated that part of it, though, like Peter's side of it, right? Because, again, like the interaction between him and Jake Gyllenhaal, right, Mysterio, like, he wanted a normal life and didn't want to take up the reins of Tony Stark, right?
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about the comedy, though?
I liked it. I mean, It wasn't as good as some other ones. There was a few parts that were just a little more cheesy than funny. But I think you can always rely on Spider-Man to be one of the more comedic ones, to have at least a little bit of a lighthearted tone, which, I feel like I've been saying it a little bit more lately, that, you need that palate cleanser from all the dark.
Yeah.
But I think Spider-Man will kind of always give you that little bit of comedy. And I thought it was all well done.
I will be honest, I haven't laughed that hard since probably Guardians 1. I was laughing so hard at this movie. Just the ridiculousness with, like, the physical comedy that he was doing really got me going.
I got a lot of good laughs, too. The one thing I'd say that I'd look for more of is that I wish Spider-Man would do more, like, wisecracks.
The snarky, yeah.
Because he almost seems just as awkward as Spider-Man as he is as Peter Parker. And I don't really like that. I preferred Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, that he'd actually wisecrack a lot.
I get what you're saying, because a lot of his humor in this was because of silliness.
Yeah.
The physical humor.
Yeah.
The really smart guy, but doesn't get subtle, like, pop culture, right? Like, oh man, I love Led Zeppelin, right? Like, it's not, like, intentional humor.
Yeah.
No.
We're almost laughing at him.
Yeah.
Whereas the actual Spider-Man is so well known for cracking wise,
and you're laughing at the villain. And
yes,
stuff like
exactly,
that.
right? So I agree with you. It's a different kind of funny. It still works. Like I still did find a few of the comedic parts, comedic, but it doesn't feel like what Spider-Man should be.
Yeah, I think he needs a lot more confidence when he has the suit on, because now it feels like he's been. I understood his lack of confidence in the first movie he was in, but at this point he needs to have more confidence, and if he doesn't in the next movie, I'm going to be very disappointed with that.
I would be worried if they do that. I don't think they will, though, because now, like, the whole idea is that, again, he has taken up the reins. He understands what it is to be a superhero.
Even still, like, he's gone through the Civil War.
Yeah.
Fighting other superheroes. He's gone through, like, the Infinity Gauntlet series, that giant battle at the end of...
He died. He died for 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah, and like...
And he's still like an awkward little teenager. Like,
well, I don't know about awkward. I mean, like, the social situation's awkward, I get. But, like, his hesitance to even, like, fight or... it's like, dude, you've seen much worse. And that's another thing that I also had a little difficulty with this. And I think it's going to be an ongoing thing if you can't take the movie in a vacuum, is with such large-scale threats in, like, the Avengers, it is a little bit harder to take Jake Gyllenhaal, Mysterio as, like, a big, oh no, we got to save the
end of the world.
Right? Like, I get it. There are threats. There was going to be lots of casualties, but it just doesn't feel on the same scale at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
That's not a knock against it, because
I mean, look what happened in the previous movie when he had to deal with Vulture, right? Like, I mean, that wasn't a earth-ending scale bad guy, right?
He was still very much a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, though. Yeah, he was involved with the Civil War. That was sort of like a bit part, right?
Almost, right?
Whereas that was like his first real threat. But yeah, now he's gone to another world. He's died. He's dealt with Thanos.
I mean, they said it. You've been to outer space.
Yeah, he's been to outer space.
Get over it. Like, what are you doing?
He killed a space wizard.
Pretty much.
But yeah,
who's the space wizard?
The guy that he shot at an arrow.
Oh, right. The guy in the ship. Yeah. Okay, my bad.
That was Black Maw.
Right. Yeah. I don't know
any other points on any of the actors or their performances?
I thought it was pretty good overall. Like,
most of the side characters were pretty good.
I can't think of anybody that was particularly bad.
No.
Right? Yeah. Like, even my complaints with MJ, the actress, Zendaya, did a good job of what they gave her.
Yeah.
I just personally didn't like her direction. But that doesn't mean anything about her performance.
No.
But I think everybody did a great job. Like, Ned was good.
The distracted
sidekick,
best
comic
friend.
relief.
Yep.
MJ did her, love interest, brooding teen well. obviously, like I said, Jake Gyllenhaal was absolutely the highlight.
Favreau as Happy.
You know what? Happy had a great performance in this one. Yeah. And I think he served as a fantastic bridge to Spider-Man and Iron Man.
Yeah.
And kind of taking up a little bit more of a mentor role from someone who doesn't have superpowers. You know, like, it was one thing to have Iron Man mentor Spider-Man, because he's been through it all.
Yeah.
Happy's only witnessed it. He hasn't done it. And I think they did a great job of giving him that level of What?
When he threw the shield. Oh my god. I laughed so hard.
That was pretty good.
He's like...
Sorry. I really like that. Yeah.
I was just thinking of it when you were talking about...
But yeah, I mean, solid performance all around.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't knock anybody. I mean, Holland did a great job.
Yeah.
Gyllenhaal did a great job. I can't think of a bad one among them.
Nope.
Okay. Anything else? No?
I think we've covered most,
we talked about special effects. We didn't talk about combat. It's kind of related in this one.
I thought there was a lot of it. I liked how there was sort of the multiple villains with Elementals and Mysterio. So you got fight scenes early on. You got several of them. And you got some good variety with the fight scenes.
It did contribute well to pacing, too.
Yeah.
Because it did prevent from too many low points.
Yeah.
Right? It was, okay, yeah, it's just a short battle with one of the first Elementals, but it breaks it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that was all well done.
The highlight for me with that is definitely the ones that were done in special effects, though. Just because, like, the mindscape and, even though it's all just CGI, like, it was still really exciting to see what Mysterio
Practical
was
effects or CGI, it's supposed to be a visual experience for us. Yeah. And that was an experience. So, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what else there is to talk about.
No, I don't think so. So, want to go with scores?
Sure. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was an excellent movie. I enjoyed it a lot. And, yeah, I can't really say much other than that. There are some shortfalls, but we've already kind of touched on them. But it was a great movie otherwise.
Yeah, I really had no problems with it. I thought it was the best Spider-Man they've done, of all the Spider-Mans so far.
I don't know about that.
I think so. I really enjoyed it. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10.
Holy Jesus. I'm actually going with a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Just a little above average. Good, not great. Maybe just diluted after years of superhero movies, but it was it did its trick. It wasn't I don't know if I'd watch it again, right? It just kind of was what it was. It was a decent movie. Couple of good performances lifted it up, but the fact that everything else was so meh kind of gives it a meh score.
That's fair.
Okay.
Well, you heard it from us. Alex and I liked it. Sandro, not as much.
I'd still say, somebody should watch it one time. Maybe not in the theater. You could wait for that one to be on streaming services. It was a good movie. It just wasn't a great movie.
So, if you've seen it and you agree with us or with Sandro or you thought it was terrible, let us know. Comment sections down below.
Nobody uses it.
And, as usual, live in a real world, play in a pixel one.
Hey, did you like that video? If you did, be sure to let us know by clicking the like button and leaving a comment. If you want to be first in line for any new content, be sure to subscribe to our channel and then hit up our Facebook page. The link's in the description below to see what's coming up next.